Please support Vlad Nerd. Thank you. So here's the deal, my dear nerds. I technically had laser eye surgery, in this eye. This eye is kind of poopy. It never worked properly. Now I'm recovering from the laser eye surgery. But news and drama seems to always come in our niche, and I needed to talk about it. And you needed to know about it. So we'll make a trade deal, you and me. I give you poopier lighting in my closet here because I needed to turn off some lights. I'm still sensitive to light. And I also give you an unhinged rant and I receive a subscribe maybe. Or, your presence, hang around. We're gonna talk. I'm not gonna edit this video a lot because, quite frankly, I'm tired and I can't. But you're gonna have quite a blast here. We're gonna talk about this beauty. I assume you remember this beauty. This is the Retroid Pocket Mini, and the Retroid Pocket Mini has recently been surrounded by nothing short but of a lot of controversy. You see, my dear nerds, the Retroid Pocket Mini might be a dream handheld for a lot of people because it's the most portable, high performance handheld that we have, with the Snapdragon 865, and this being pocketable, a lot of people love it. But the fact of the matter is that this seems to have a glaring manufacturing defect, meaning that the screen itself was supposed to be, where's my pen here, was supposed to be 960p, which would allow for a perfect integer scale of a lot of consoles. And what this basically means is that for people who don't know what integer scaling is, basically integer scaling allows for pixel per pixel image fidelity. It allows for a perfect image, so to speak. You have an image and you have a display that are compatible pixel wise. But when you don't have this integer scaling, what you mostly end up with is a scaled or distorted image, and the image itself starts appearing softer than it should be. This post from a few months ago actually explains it beautifully. There's been a lot of people getting their Retroid Pocket Minis and realizing that any shader or overlay looks off on it without knowing where it's coming from. Basically, this guy tested and he realized that instead of the Mini having a 960p screen, it has something closer to a 1280p screen. And this basically means that the screen itself is still trying to output 960p, while the panel and the chipset is kind of stretching to 960p because remember, the panel itself is 1280p. And this guy, I love people who do this kind of work. They make things way easier for me to cover. He went really in depth to this. He actually took macro shots of the pixels, and you can see that they tend to be misaligned when you're not integer scaling. That's why an image appears to be way softer than how it actually should be, given that the display has a pretty big resolution. And this isn't necessarily the problem, software bugs or bugs in general, they happen. It's inevitable. And Retroid was sitting on this issue they kept promising to fix, but there's been quite a development where apparently, let me switch the screen here, apparently they backtracked recently. And they said, wait for it. Actually, I'm not gonna read all of this because it's a lot to read. I will pause it though. But these screenshots basically show how Retroid started basically backtracking on the issue. But the problem is that they deleted previous statements where they said that people who aren't satisfied with the Retroid Pocket Mini because of the scaling issue would have their warranty extended and they could, send the handheld back and receive a refund. but they scrubbed all of that. They deleted all of that. And people, rightfully so, they are kind of in flames over it. They took their pitchforks and, they're kind of flaming Retroid for it. The problem is that if it's a hardware issue, I kind of emphasize with Retroid because Retroid, well, they don't produce these displays. They source them from other suppliers. And so those suppliers technically should be very transparent with the kind of displays that they use. And this apparently flew underneath the radar, and the Retroid Pocket Mini ended up in production with the screen. It's all one big drama stick. But the thing is that if Retroid tried to scrub everything under the carpet and deleted their initial, I assume, Discord comments where they said that they were gonna give that what's the word in English? They're gonna have this return policy and people can get their money back. And then they deleted that. Well, this is just horrible because you as a company, and I'm pretty sure Retroid will never want to work with me after this, but you as a company, you kill a lot of goodwill points, Yeah, look, exactly what Chocoyon here says. What's more damning and nobody seems to pay attention to is that Retroid has acknowledged the issue and stopped producing this device, but continues to sell it. Yeah, personally, I'm not really sure how much of a problem I have with that if they literally announce this, if they make a big deal out of this. Hey, the screen does not integer scale properly. Anyway, going further into the conversation, because this is actually a juicy conversation and I want us to read a bit on it. Let me just put my head here as well. I think it would take a blog or a video by an established content creator. Well, I'm not an established content creator, but you get me. I'm the wish.com version of a established content creator. So let's continue covering this. To content creator for a Retroid to actually do something, but at the same time, established content creators likely won't say anything. Small content creators for the win. Out of fear of getting blacklisted, which I think I am, for review units unless it's affected them personally. And Joey, God bless his soul, the hawk of our niche, everybody should literally subscribe to Joey. He's one of the anti-shield content creators out there. But, yeah. Wait. Joey is reported on this for 2 weeks straight in his newscast, including today. And somebody writes, "Where's Russ from Retro Game Corps when you need him?" And I love this. Russ answered literally an hour later, "I'm on it, waiting for an official response from Retroid, and I will report my findings." Bless these two people. Russ and Joy, they are amazing. There's a lot of shields in this niche, just like somebody said here. What was it? Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, couldn't find that comment. Somebody says that most retro reviewers are shills and they're not critical. Honestly, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. There is some truth to that because companies blacklist creators who are critical of their stuff. That's why I have to pay out of pocket for a million handhelds. I have a big mouth and I'm not gonna change that. But yeah, a lot of people are like, closed mouth, and they want to be friendly to the companies. That's what being company friendly actually means. A lot of content creators try to balance appeasing the company and making a review that doesn't appear like an ad. But alas, I am going off topic. This guy had an interesting comment. "Good to see. You'll know the main issue over this situation, I assume he's referring, is the gaslighting over it with the initial acknowledgement, acknowledgement meaning that people who are bothered by the scaling issue could get refunds and, send the device back. Off. And offering a return window before deleting it all and denying it was ever offered. And yeah, the Discord post promising a fix or returns that was mysteriously deleted, quote unquote, from the Retroid a couple of months ago is a huge important thing to note. The way the whole thing was handled is extremely shady, and I wholeheartedly freaking agree with this. Pun not intended, because it's not a shader issue. And this is the reason of this video, my dear nerds. It's as simple as that. The issue isn't a big issue. I will die on this hill. Most people don't even notice the scaling issue. Hell, I couldn't care less about the scaling issue. You actually, if you slap a good shader in RetroArch, you have a very good image in this OLED screen. The problem is how it was handled, because Retroid could do better, and I think it's up to the discretion of the people, the consumer base, the wallet sheep, to be critical when a company does critical things. And I think I can already feel Retroid never contacting me after this. We can still be buddies, Retroid, just send me review devices. But I can already think of a million scenarios in which Retroid could have handled this situation better. They could have. It's that simple. They could have said, hey, this is an issue that was not discovered. Our screen supplier was kind of a douche. And, damage control, we're gonna offer you something. I don't know, a backplate for free or some other thing like this, a piece of plastic, a $10 coupon, a $20 coupon, whatever. You get the idea. Soft mitten gloves. There would have been a million ways in which to do this, not to delete the post because people were bound to have noticed. But alas, yeah, poop hit the fan, and when poop hits the fan, everybody is up, arms in the air. Now, I'm not sure if Retroid is in damage control or if they backtracked. I think I read a post where they are reinstating the refunds. I'm not sure if that post was older or not. But alas, yeah, this doesn't look good. I could make lazy content and read more comments together with you fine nerds, but the fact of the matter is that people here seem to be very pissed. Again, not really by the shader, by the scaling issue itself, but by how Retroid freaking handled this. Look, this guy actually has a good comment from Retroid Pocket. There is one shader called blah blah blah, which with an older RetroArch version, and it looks good enough that you won't really notice it. But remember to actually add another shader by prepending it and use Pixel AA, which is another shader underneath that other one to quote-unquote solve the scaling problem. Yeah, technically, yeah, I understand Retroid here. A hack like this, it's a hack. This would have been good enough for most people. However, no, Retroid. No, you issue an apology. You stand by your previous statement. You take in the loss. If 3%, I assume it's not more than that, 3%, 5%, or whatever, people actually want to return them, take in the loss. You are gathering goodwill points. People actually see you, up until this point, in a good light. You have no idea how much people scolded me. I hope somebody at Retroid watches this. You have no idea how much people scolded me when I criticized you in previous videos. And now you're doing this. You're kind of making the people get their pitchforks on you. It's not necessary. But alas, yeah, this is the drama that we have. ELDR scaling issue on the screen, image looks blurrier. People who are very attentive and who have way better eyes than mine notice it. Retroid handled it as gently as I handle something very sensitive with my gimly hands. And in a few days, all of this will most probably blow over. Now, you might be asking yourself, what do you do with this information? Should you still get a Retroid Pocket file, a Retroid Pocket Mini? Should you cancel your order? Should you send it back? Well, I'm gonna give a very unpopular opinion here. You shouldn't freaking care. It's that simple. Look, the scaling issue sucks. If you're a purist, if you want pixel perfect image, and if compensating with RetroArch shaders doesn't do it for you, then yeah, send it back. Or better yet, don't buy it if you know you're gonna OCD on this and you're gonna be super bothered constantly. However, I firmly stand on the idea that 95% or more of the people will just not notice, my dear nerds. It's that simple. Besides that, it's a good device. Yeah, sure, it had a messy launch. You'll have to manually upgrade to Android 13 from Android 10. It's not mandatory, however, I would do it if I were you. It's not a hard process. Joey from Joey's Retro Handhelds has a nice video or article, I can't remember, about this. So do the guys from Retro Handhelds. Pick your channel and follow a guide, you'll be okay. As far as the scaling thing, you might think I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get comments with this, but most of you will not be affected. Hell, I don't feel affected. However, what I wanted to point out is how a small issue can become a big issue based on the fact that it wasn't handled properly by the company. There are a million other scenarios running through my head where Retroid could have handled this gracefully, without any impact, without any pitchforks up their logo, and you know, people wouldn't have commented on this. I assume I'm actually curious to see if this will cause a fallout. Will me and Joey be the only ones talking about this? I know Russ will talk about it because actually I like Russ and I trust him. I'm actually curious how many channels will cover this because this is a surefire way to get on a company's blacklist by pointing out basically the drama like this, how they improperly manage the situation. Stuff like this lowers company confidence, my dear nerds, and no company wants that. And when you do this, companies are like, ugh, 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 we will never collaborate with this guy. I personally don't care. I have been buying every Retroid product which hasn't been sent by third party stores, and I'm way too deep financially into this with expenditures on Retroid to ever think of, compromising the narrative here. So, yeah, I think I made my thoughts clear. The situation itself is not big. The drama is created by the company response. What can I tell you? Don't stop buying Retroid products in the future if you like a Retroid product. However, and this is a big however, I think we all collectively should understand what buying a handheld like this actually implies. It means that, look, these aren't companies like Asus or Samsung, okay? There will be flaws and defects, and it's baked into the price. It's part of the risk. It's part of the trip of. It's part of this handheld fever dream that we've been on for the last years. So, my dear nerds, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with me. Let me know if you liked it, okay? I'll do more of these, especially with bad lighting for a while. And more importantly, this video is way less edited. If you like this kind of video, do let me know. And, in case you haven't subscribed, you know what I want you to do. We'll see each other, my dear nerds, in the next time, okay? Bye.